Yo, what's up guys, CJ Inferno here again. Today's review is for the DLC for AI Limit. I was granted early access, so thank you again for the guys at Sea Asia for giving me access. So this review, I'm going to be going over the story a bit, the gameplay, and my thoughts on whether or not, if it's like worth coming back to or not. So it shouldn't take too long, but well, knowing myself, it probably will go like quite some time. But anyway, let's just jump right into it. So the story for the DLC. Essentially how to start the DLC. You go to the camp where everyone is usually. You talk to one of the NPCs, they'll give you a key. Then you go to North Town, I believe. And then if you remember where that weird doctor came from and he locked off the that one area there, that's where you can go and use it. So essentially this story is it continues after the main game itself, like after all the events and stuff and everything. And then essentially it's just like one big area that you can kind of explore to an extent. And you're basically tasked with going through these trials and then overcoming them. Nothing too serious. It's pretty straightforward in terms of story. You do meet a new character. She is pretty nice, especially on the eyes if you're really into that, but that's besides the point. But yeah, overall the story I thought was pretty decent for the most part. I know they're gonna have their big story one coming out probably like later this year, I think. This one I guess is like more of a just like testing the waters and stuff. So this one is not really like story focus, but you know, it's still there. So overall I think the story for it, or how it was presented, was done at a good job for the most part. Now in terms of the gameplay for the DLC, it's essentially a roguelike type of game. So if you played Hades 2, Slay the Spire, all those games that have come out over the years, right, you would instantly get this. So essentially you're tasked with doing these trials. You need to do it 3 times before you can actually like get to the actual final boss and finish off the DLC. Essentially you go in first time, so the first time is like more like a prologue, so it's just like telling you what's happening and everything, how stuff works. So you go in, you select what weapon you would get. It's usually from like 3 options, so you can maybe get dual swords, pole arm, single hand weapon, whatever. It's obviously random, right? And then you also get one of the abilities in the like one of the 4 abilities that you get in the game. So you either get the you can either pick the shield, you can either pick the flash step, the piercing claw, or the parry. Personally, I just went for the parry because it just makes everything 10 times easier. Like everything. But yeah, you go through that, and essentially you go through like these little gates that you would see. You need to go and kill the commander, as they would call it. You will see like a little icon on top of their head. Sometimes there's multiple of them in the same room, sometimes it's just one. Once you kill them, all other enemies in the room will just die, so you don't really have to focus on the ads, especially if the ones that are just like super slow on the floor and stuff, right? And then essentially you'll come down to the boss. So there are new bosses in the game, but like the first boss that you come through is one that you've already faced throughout in the main game. So if you already know its movesets and stuff, you know, it's so easy. And then once you go through that, you'll talk to the NPC again, and then essentially you go through it again. This time now the gameplay is well, not improved, but like enhanced. So there's this heat level, which essentially the higher it goes, the more damage you will take. So ideally you want to finish stuff fast. So it's going to be one of those ones where you have to grind a bit to finish it, unless like you're a god gamer and you just take no damage whatsoever. But essentially you do that. There's more areas to explore. Then you go to like, once you beat the initial first area again, when you go to the second area, there's like a nice, I wouldn't say open area, but like it's quite expansive to the point where, you know, you have your own mini map. You can see, oh, what bosses to go to, what upgrades to get, what items to get, what abilities to get, what weapons to get. And yeah, it's just the same thing over and over, but obviously you get new stuff. It's quite addicting to the point, like even after I finish it, I still continue to do it, just to like challenge myself, right? And then at some point later on in the story, there are these rifts that come. Once you essentially like filled out like the there's like a little bar that you'll see like at the bottom left. Once you filled that out to an certain point, rifts, like 2 rifts will appear on that map. You go in there, you can face like a boss from the main game. Could be anyone. I got, for one example, I got a lost kid, and I can't remember the other lady that has like the great sword that does flame attacks with it as well. I beat both of them, and you get like, you know, a super high reward. So you don't have to do these rifts, but you know, considering the rewards that you get for it, you know, it depends if you want to take the risk or not, but it is there to be done if you want it. Now, on another note with the gameplay, your stats don't matter. So your stats from the main game, right, they don't carry over into this rift that you go into. So once you go into the rift, you have a set amount of attributes, and then from there, once you like obtain like a certain currency in the rift as well, you can go to certain like places that you'll see on the map where you can actually upgrade or get the chance to upgrade your attributes as well. Now there's like a chance of you getting like, there's 3 of them, so it just depends. It can be random. Sometimes it can give you life and strength technique, or conversion, any of that stuff, right, that you see in the main game. So that is your basically way to try and level up and do more damage, and like to try and survive more as well. Now, I should have probably mentioned this at the start, but once you go into the rift, there are 3 difficulty levels as well. So they are basically level 1, 2, and 3. So think of them as easy, normal, hard, right? Now, I done them on normal and hard. There's basically modifiers to it. So if you're playing on normal, you get like, I think 125% more of the currencies that you get throughout that thing. If you're playing on hard, you get, I think it's 200%. You also get extra drops for items that can enhance your attributes as well before you even go into the rift. So you're going to be grinding this quite a bit. Ideally, you probably want to do it on hard just so you can get the extra item as well, because you'll definitely need it when you're trying to clear the final area, unless, I don't know, you're a god gamer again. I am not that, you know. Considering I haven't played this game since I finished it last year, I was super rusty, but I still managed to get through it. But yeah, once you finish off a round, or pretty much that particular run, you come back to the main area, and then you can obviously upgrade your abilities and stuff, or attributes and stuff as well. So that goes from your life to strength and everything, basically your starting attributes. So you can increase it so you can have like more of an edge when you go into these rifts, instead of like struggling at the start as well, which really helps, and I would recommend to do it as well. On that note, there are also 2 other rifts that you can go into. These are not part of the DLC story itself, but it's just like more of a challenge for you. So some of them is like a boss rush, and then there's other ones where you can actually just go and fight the bosses individually again. These have different like level challenges to it. So you got, I think it's 1 to 5. I think 1 to 3 is unlocked at the start, and then once you do 3, you get 4. Once you do 4, you get 5. Obviously, there'll be enhancing their strength, defense, all of that stuff. So it's just a nice little side challenge for you to do if you want to do that. I didn't bother with it too much because I didn't really see the need to fight these bosses again, but you know, some people might enjoy that, so it is an option. So I do appreciate them for actually doing that as well. Now, in regards to the new bosses that are in this DLC, there is, I guess, if you want to count actual new bosses, I would say there's like 2 to 3. I don't know if I even want to count the first one that you count before you enter the place, but I don't remember seeing that in the main story as well. But you do see some of the NPCs that you fight with in the main game, you actually do fight them here. One example is the guy at the coffin. I can't remember his name. You fight him in the DLC. The girl that has the staff, I can't remember her name either. My god, I actually don't remember none of their names. You fight her as well. Basically, all the NPCs that you've interacted in some sort of way, most of them can be fought in this DLC. So that's nice. And then obviously you got the new character, and then obviously the final boss as well. But yeah, overall gameplay, I enjoyed it. I enjoyed what they offered. I enjoyed the replayability that is there, and yeah, I think they actually done a good job for it. Now, in terms of issues and stuff that I've come across when playing it, I didn't really come across too much, except for like the usual like text being like awkward and stuff on where it is and the placement and everything. In terms of like the damage on doing to the bosses and stuff, I don't know, like the amount of modifiers that you can get in the DLC itself, like during your runs, is actually bonkers. Like you can actually do some stupid damage. So some of the bosses were dying quite fast, and I was a bit concerned. I was like, did I really be doing this much damage? But you know, I'll take my wins. In terms of like the bosses doing damage to you, yeah, they can hit hard. They can definitely hit hard. But you know, that's just the beauty of the challenge of it. But yeah, overall I enjoyed the DLC. I enjoyed my time with it. Now, whether or not do I recommend it, to be honest, I do recommend it still. I actually think it's a well put DLC, like well put through DLC, all things considered. I do hope that they can kind of fix like how the text kind of just like not glitches out, but like where it ends and stuff. Like you can see some words are just like kind of split into two. So I know that was a thing in the original game, and to be honest, I would have thought they would have like gone past that. I'm kind of disappointed to see that again, but apart from that, I have enjoyed the DLC. I do think if you guys are looking to come back into the game, I do think you should go and get the DLC when it comes out. Well, basically by the time this video is out, the DLC should be out. But yeah, overall, yeah, good DLC. Good from the team as well. I'm kind of curious to see what they'll do with the next DLC. Hopefully that one will be a lot better, a lot more polished. Maybe some new weapons, some new spells. That would be nice. I know there was a few new, not spells, but like what they call sigils in this one. I think there's like 3 or 4 of them that I remember seeing in the shop, but I just didn't bother really changing it. But yeah, hopefully next DLC is good. So again, I want to say thank you to CE Asia for sending me the access to the DLC. I hope you guys enjoyed this review. Yeah, if you've got any questions, let me know down below in the comments, and I'll see you guys next time.